patiently.
And this is us, right?
Yep. So, Noreen, why don't you introduce your team?
Okay, so I'm not going to call our board to order, although we did post because we only have two commissioners here today, so not a quorum. So we have Commissioner Underwood and myself, Noreen Donahue, who is the chair. Also, we have Jason Trapania, who is our superintendent of just 14 months. So he has survived the 12-month period, but still weathering a great deal of things going on down on Chatham Road. And we also have with us Sandy Seeger, who is our comptroller.
Welcome.
So
Noreen, as you go through this, can I back up 1 second? I just wanted, what I had put in the packet was the budget statement from the select board. I did want to do that one first, if I can just stop here, because I think it informs us as to how we're going to move forward this year. And we've never done this before, but I think it's something we as a practice we should do at the beginning of every season, so everybody knows and is on the same page. So everybody had that in their package, and hopefully they've had a chance to read it. But generally, the gist is that the select, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tony.
Yes.
The select board is asking for a level services approach to budgeting this year. They're looking to maintain our AAA bond rating while balancing revenue and expenses. And they're saying that capital expenditures should focus exclusively on current assets and mandated expenditures. So really, no new or expansion of projects unless absolutely necessary, and our goal is to protect and invest in our current assets and maintain them. Would you say that's correct?
It is, and I think for the next meeting, I think might be helpful too, is so that's the select board's general policy guidance. From that, I create specific guidance for the departments as they put their budgets together. So I'll share that with you that covers how we're looking at both the budget and, capital.
Okay. So with that in mind, Noreen, you're the first up. As you go through this, if you can just help us understand what's changed, why it's changed, where you guys are headed, and what you're focusing on this year.
Okay, so following on the committee style from last year, I realize you may have changed a few things, but first of all, I need to explain that what isn't on our capital plan is the thing that we are most involved in right now. In May of 2023, we got authorization and passed a town meeting the project for the water main replacement in a 2.5-mile stretch of Route 28. 2 miles east of the bridge, half a mile west of the bridge. Half a mile west of the bridge to be combined with the installation of a dry sewer pipe through the town's efforts for wastewater, also to be combined with a $17 million project by the Department of Transportation to improve their sidewalks, lighting, and everything else in that area. That's the good news. The sad news is when you work with the Department of Transportation, you are subject to some of the most frustrating, incredible delays ever born to human beings on this earth. So because of that, we actually hope to go to bid on this project in the spring of '23, and here we sit in the fall of '25. We've had delays from the Department of Transportation, as well as 3 changes to our engineering principles on the Route 28 project. And even the Division of Marine Fisheries was slow. There's no agency that has not dragged its heels on this project.
So that was a $2.5 million project, correct?
It was a $17.5 million project.
Oh, okay.
The total.
That was what we approved last year? Sorry, or
That was approved
23.
in May of '23.
All right.
Okay.
Can't even remember. Okay.
So, well, that's why you wouldn't know why these other things were happening. So at any rate, that is hopefully going forward finally this spring. Bids are starting to go out. We're still waiting for some approval from DOT. But because of that, we've had to move back a few years of projects. We only have so many resources, we only have so much staff that can do oversight, even though the projects are farmed out to bidders, and we have no other recourse. So that's really the nature of what you're going to see here, is the same projects that you've seen other years, but moved around to accommodate our resources.
And would you expect that the timing delay is going to increase the cost of the project?
No.
Okay.
The reason for that is when it was originally bid, that was during COVID. That's how long ago it was, or when it was originally designed to go to town meeting. And so estimates were being made very high in those days, as there was such a level of uncertainty. Then in addition to that, we didn't know the full implications of what the savings would be with combining resources with the Department of Transportation. So even though we've suffered in planning and timing, we saved several million
Okay.
Off of that partnership. So no, the funding is ample. Yes, the bids could be higher, but since the original vote was so high, we're okay on that.
Okay, great.
So with that said, before we go into the individual projects, which Jason and Sandy can give details on, I wanted to look at our section of the capital plan compared to the capital plan from FY26 through FY30 last year. And last year's section, our section on it, came to $8,125,000. Our section this year comes to $12,785,000. So the difference between those two is $4,660,000. The components of that change are, the first is actually a minus $100,000. That was the amount that dropped off from FY26. Then we have added to our well construction project, which Jason will be going into the specifics, $1.1 million. We also increased the estimate on our vehicles for FY27, so they went up from originally had been $350,000 to $510,000, so another $160,000 total. And then the last and most significant thing was actually, thanks to some of the comments from this committee, we've started to delve into a more realistic cost for what we call a space building. Just to be clear, and Jason will go into the details, but the space building is, I've heard it described as more storage for our vehicles that are outside. It also was strongly recommended by the DEP, because right now with our outside vehicle storage, naturally they leak oil on occasion, and since we're sitting on a well field, that's not the most desirable thing. So yes, we do need a little more space, but more importantly, it would be a storage facility without drains in the floors. So at any rate, Jason has hooked up with a designer for some guidance, and we had originally estimated the cost of that building to be $1.5 million. Now, as an estimate, we're saying $5 million, maybe a little lower or a little higher. It's a few years out, but that's a lot closer realization of what we'll probably spend.
And you pushed it out, is that right?
And we pushed it out, yeah. We just can't build it while we're doing Route 28. The Route 28 project that we'll be starting this winter is the biggest project the water department has had as far as I can remember. Can you remember further?
And just tell me again, I was kind of still struggling here with the materials, but you're talking about in West Harwich, right?
Well, I'm talking about starting at Division Street and going to South Street, all the way, 2.5 miles. So a half a mile to the bridge, and then 2 miles from the bridge to South Street.
But you're West Harwich, right?
No,
Well, West Harwich.
South Street and Howardsport
pardon me?
South Street and Howardsport
Is the end.
is the farthest you're going east.
Correct.
And then you go back west to the Dennis line.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it now. I thought it was more defined in terms of more in West Harwich, but we're really talking about
Right.
all of Harwich, pretty
Well,
much.
it's two phases.
Yeah. So the thing is, you hear a lot about the west portion because that involves the town,
Right.
and that involves the improvements to be done on the area from the bridge to the Dennis line.
Right.
But from the area from the bridge to South Street, it's purely the water department,
Oh, it's
and
just-
it's 2 solid miles,
So what's the total then? If
2.5 miles.
The bridge to
$1,000.
Dennis line is what, and then
The bridge to the Dennis line is 1/2 of a mile,
it really is,
yeah.
that's all?
And from the bridge to South Street, it is 2 miles.
Got it, okay.
1.9 and .6 if you want to really get technical.
Just for clarity, that's going to start, you guess, this winter?
No, if I had to guess, I would say, I would pray for March.
And the length of time that will,
It would probably be a 2-year span, and also this work cannot be done in the summer.
right,
It has to close down from Memorial Day to Labor Day. It's a bear, you know,
Right.
this is the biggest project the water department has ever had.
so it'd be,
And so we're talking about like stopping one lane, having just one lane traffic?
I'm going to turn it over to our expert.
Yes, that could. That could be. We're going to let the police department do the detours and let the professionals, you know, keep everybody safe on the road.
Okay, so you'd send people out onto Lower County or something and back on?
If that's what needs to be done. During construction, we got some temporary water main that's going to have to take place. We have one of the main feeds to Nantucket for electrical that comes through there that we have to work around. We are doing some directional drilling underneath the Heron River. So we have, it's a very large project.
I'll also add that they purchased and are using an insertion valve, which will allow the residents to actually not have to lose water overnight. They'll actually be able to be turned off in the morning and for the most part reconnected at the end of the day. So there's been a ton of preparation.
And part of this was the size of the pipe was inadequate for what you needed? Was that the original thinking behind changing that pipe?
age.
Yeah, it was age and also when you look at the pipe overall, the population density, firefighting needs, so they upgraded that.
Okay.
So we have control of water or electricity to Nantucket?
Oh,
We don't control it.
we don't have control of it, no.
No, but I
the
mean, it
electrical.
passes through our
It passes
property.
through, yes.
So we could.
I
we
feel
could
a little
maybe
anarchy starting here. That's scaring me, Paul.
Pony up a little bit.
A lot of money over there.
It's not in our project.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I just pulled up the 2023 the annual meeting warrant. And Noreen, you'd mentioned that the water main replacement was approved at 17.5 million.
Correct.
I just want to make sure it hasn't increased because in the May 23 warrant, the 5-year capital outlay plan says 14.7 million.
Right. And no, we doubt that it would increase. The 17.5 was extremely overestimated. As I say, that was a result of COVID, and we had not yet joined forces with the Department of Transportation. We expect this to come in at around 14 or 15. Again, we don't have bids in yet, so I can't say that with 100% certainty. Hopefully that.
But I think
will be
Scott's having a hard time getting to where you got 17.5. He's seeing it at 14.7 in the 2023 warrant. So was there something, an additional line somewhere or money that got added later?
No, it was simply based on the engineer's estimate. The original engineer's estimate was 17.5. That's went into the warrant. And, you know, I'm not sure exactly what you're looking at right this second, Scott, but those are the
He's
figures.
looking at the
I'm
two.
loo-
2023.
I'm looking at Appendix C of the 2023 town warrant, where the Route 28 water main replacement is listed at 14.7 million. So I'm just trying to reconcile that.
I mean, I look at the article then and tell me what the article was authorized at. It should be in the same
I will-
warrant. Isn't that
Yeah, I will-
17.5?
I will check right now. It's just, there it is, page 24.
You got a library in that RV?
This is the problem of letting people work from
Yeah.
home, kind of a thing. You
Yeah,
get
there's-
Yeah, we have special advantages.
We're so thrilled.
it's cheating.
It's odd, here it's oh wait, it is 17.5 million.
Thank you.
Article 20.
Okay.
So that's
Awesome,
odd
it's
that
wrong on the
it's
capital
listed
report. Great.
differently in Appendix
As
C.
to why there's a different amount in the capital attendance, I suggest you talk to the capital outlay committee about that.
Yeah,
Something
well-
makes
well,
me
back
think
then-
it changed and nobody told the capital
I
outlay
must say that
committee.
back then, there was not the attention to
May I
detail
go
that there
on?
is today, so, yes.
All right, one for Noreen.
Oh,
All right. Okay, where were we? That's exciting.
Okay.
So,
So we,
and also, just to finish that off, we're going to be having info meetings for the public, you know, the whole works, but it's
so that
gonna be
pushes
there.
the building out because you don't have the time and resources to work on the building at the same time.
and the well construction and
well
everything
construction.
else.
Okay.
You know, being in Department 16. So, all right, so that reconciles the difference between the plan of last year and our section of the plan of this year. We have no needs, no capital needs for the wastewater portion of our enterprise right now. So in general, to sum it up, before I hand over to Jason, our ads this year from last year were an additional 1.1 million added to the well construction project that you'll see in FY '27. And the rest was moves, which were all moves related to the situation we've just described, which were the water main replacement, the body of it was moved from 27 to 29. The new well construction also moved from 27 to 29, and the space building from 28 to 30. And my last comment will be, we have made a stunning change. We have changed the name of our projects recently called Pipe Discontinuity.
Discontinuity. Oh, I remember that, yeah.
And we are now calling them Water Main Replacements.
Oh,
That is,
Commendable.
With that,
But I have a question, just for my edification here. So you're asking 1.1 million for the upcoming first fiscal year of the plan
yes,
to do the well and water or is it one of those two?
so this is for installation of the well, the building of the well itself, and also all the permitting, testing through Mass DEP.
So right now, we have how many wells in the town?
Right now, we have
5, 6?
14 wells.
14.
This will be 15.
And where is it physically going?
This is going out at our well site number 10. I do believe that is on Bay,
Northwest.
yeah, Northwest Gate.
So it's replacing an existing one of those 14?
No, we'll be adding this to our wells, yes.
So, but you're into the same type of aquifer or something, I assume, there?
Yes, that's the Monomoy lens, yes.
There's only one.
And the one in 29 is what? Is that a new well as well?
So the 3.5
wells
million
in there.
for that is the same exact well. That is the construction of bringing that well into the treatment facility. There is an upgrade to the treatment facility for the quantity of water that will be going through it.
Okay, well, tell me about the treatment facility. Is that, are we eventually going to get our own here, or are we going to continue to,
No, that's, you're
This is
talking
water.
wastewater.
We have all of our own.
okay, we're not into the second department.
no.
So what's taking place right now is, out there, it's well 10. That's there now.
Okay.
That goes through a iron and manganese treatment facility. That treatment facility was built specifically for the quantity of water going through from well 10. When the facility was built, it was built for an addition for another well there. So once that well is constructed, the $1.1 million, and all of the permitting through Mass DEP, the well testing, we have to build that we have to add on to that treatment of the iron and manganese for the new well,
Because volume.
So they go together.
for the quantity,
And
yes.
is there anything concerning about the properties around where these wells are? Is there a sense from the commission that there isn't a need for additional acquiring of property or whatever to preserve the surface area where the wells go? Or is that in the future?
Land acquisition is always a concern. We looked into it a few years ago, and actually just recently, Real Estate and Open Space was so kind to contact our board and come over and give a presentation. And they've identified about, I want to say 3 or 4 properties that are actually town-owned properties, landlocked, of no virtual use, that would be better suited for the water department. They also have several properties that would be better suited for conservation. But possibly at next May's town meeting, you may see an article to transfer the care and custody of those to add to our well areas.
And is this mostly still East Howard? Is that the concentrate?
All over.
All over.
Can I jump in?
Sure.
So the well in West Harwich, the new one that we're
Yeah.
planning, that, the groundwater underneath, it's all designed, it's all been spec'd out, that there's enough land there currently. We can always use more land, but for what this well would do, that's been in
just-
place for some
So
time.
curious, what is the total property that's under the domain of the water department? Is that a secret?
Oh, the number of acres.
Scott has that figure. No, I really don't know.
I'm still, I'm a little, I want to just go back to the 1.1 and the 3.5, because I'm still confused. So originally, we had 3.5 on there.
Yes.
It was, where is it here? A new well construction, that's how it was labeled last year.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, now we moved it, I get that. But that new well construction is different than this particular well, is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so,
So the new well construction is the $1.1 million. It's all part of the same.
so it's like the project is increased in dollar value by 1.1, is that what you're saying?
That would be correct, yes. It's
Okay.
increased by 1.1.
And you
I
did-
had to go back to the engineers and say, and we did this, as you can see, through everything here.
Yeah.
I had to go back to the engineers and say, I need a solid number on this. Where are we at and where are we going with this? And they responded as the $1.1 million for the total well construction through the DEP with all the permitting and everything. That would be to construct the well, install the well.
Okay, so we put the well in and we let it sit for a couple years, we're not using it.
So this right here, this 1.1,
Yeah.
is going to take us through all of 28 also. But they couldn't stop in the middle. They would have to continue that work, so that's why we're going for that 1.1 now. Otherwise, I did have it broken up into some funding for the 27 and 28. But they said they need that to continue that construction to be at a stopping point for the 2029.
And then what happens in 29? You've got this well.
Yep, we got the well. So now what happens is you have a well out in the middle of a field. Just picture that.
Yeah,
You have to get that well pumping water into the treatment facility.
okay.
It will treat the water, and from there, it goes out into the distribution for the consumers.
So is this, we're just updating this isn't a new treatment plant. This is just to add this well on to the existing treatment plant.
That's correct.
And the cost of that is more than we originally thought.
Yes.
What we're saying.
The 1.1 to construct the well, correct.
Well, the well was always kind of part of the 3.5. right?
Yeah.
You pulled it out, got it done this year, it's 1.1, and then now when you look at what it's going to cost to connect it, that's 3.5.
Correct.
Okay, all right. So it's not a new project, it is sort of a breakdown of a project in an increase in price.
Correct.
And also, I think the original thing might not have had a good number for the DEP permitting and all of that stuff, which is now in part of the 1.1.
Got it.
The word construction, I think, gets used earlier than it's really construction, if you know what I mean.
Well, you're actually going to be digging with this 1.1 though, right? Is it?
Yeah, we'll be putting the well in.
Yeah, okay.
Madam Chairman?
Yeah.
From prior years, I remember the presentation was that we're well ahead of other towns and that we're this far along to have a new well, because it takes 5 or 6 years, is that correct?
That's correct.
So just to give, kudos to the water department that we started this early, we'll be in better, to some degree, water shape than other towns?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so there's an advantage here overall, that we started it this early. Disadvantage that it's costing us more,
Right.
but there's a benefit to the residents in that we did begin that, yes.
And if I could add to that,
Yeah.
but as a layperson, correct me when I stumble, by having different wells but in the same general well fleet or well field or location, I believe that as things come forward in the future, we could direct water treatment to specific problems, if need be. For instance, if PFAS were identified in a specific area of the town, it doesn't necessarily going to show up at all of our well or monitoring spots at the same time. By having wells spread around, it gives us more tools to deal with situations like that, if I'm correct about that.
Correct.
Okay.
But is the well also needed because we have more people in town? Is that also driving why we need to add a new well, or, usage, or
It's,
or is this more like just to be
it's-
safe and make sure we don't have issues in the future?
correct,
Okay,
correct. It's
more
not so we
leaning
have
toward
issues.
that.
Let's say a well goes down.
Right.
Right.
Like if a well fails.
Yep.
We want to be able to continue to pump water
Sort of like the
adequately.
issues Chatham had.
Yes,
Exactly. They only
yes.
have, I think, around 6 wells,
They
and when
didn't
they
do
had
this.
2 down, they had serious
Okay.
problems.
I just wanted to understand what was driving the need.
And,
but
and this well that they're, from what I'm told, it's 1,000 gallons a minute.
Okay, wow,
That's quite a bit of water.
yeah.
Yeah.
Scott?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Related question. Does each well serve the entire system of water distribution? Or do individual wells serve a geographical area of the distribution?
No, they all serve the town.
Okay, so it's a single distribution system that each well serves. Thanks.
Okay, I think this has been pretty straightforward. They're not really changes other than shifts and increased in costs, right? Yeah, and breaking a project out, which I think we see more and more often now, that it's easier to do what they call the engineering up front, and then the project, you're doing the well, and then the treatment plant. So that makes sense.
Does this jive with the policy of the select board to?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, I think
Yeah.
the well is necessary, right? It's been on the project list. It's not new to the project list. It's just more cost.
But I thought they had a fixed level that.
Well, they're saying
Increase any of-
service level means you do everything the same. you
Fixed
don't-
items, but not
But
necessarily
it's not, the
fixed
cost is not yeah, the cost is
And
not.
level services is the town government side, it's not capital, right?
Right,
So those are
right.
two separate
Right.
thing in terms of level services.
But you could say they have kept their services
Mm-hmm.
level here, other than the cost of things are more, and they're getting, as always happens, you get closer to the project, you define it, and then you get a better cost estimate.
May I ask one
I would
more
add-
sort of?
Let Noreen go
Dumb
first.
question.
Can Noreen go
I
first?
would add to to Mr. Doan that these items will be paid for through the Water Enterprise Fund, through either retained earnings that year or through debt. And I would anticipate seeing some water increases over the next few years. The pipes in our ground are 100 years old. And, you know, and we constantly watch where the water breaks happen and have a plan to gradually start to replace those pipes. But regardless of the level of services, we have to replace the pipes.
So,
I have just two questions. One is kind of just a general question of interest. But first, so to understand this, you currently have 14 wells in some sort of servicing operation. Some may be resting, and some are actually providing water into my house. And this will be the 15th. And how many of those wells are currently pumping water into my house, and how much are sitting? Are it 50/50, or is it... So if I understand it correctly, some of these are sitting idle in terms of actually providing water to users. What percentage of those 15 actually are working, and how much are sitting in reserve?
So they're all working. So what happens
No,
when...
I know that, okay. I'm
No, so what happens is when the tank calls for water to fill it up, so our big storage tanks, when they say, hey, we need, we hit a certain level, low level in the tank, all of the wells kick on to fill that tank back up. When that tank hits a certain level, they all shut off.
And we've reduced tanks in the past, right, to replace them?
Yes, we have.
We still have the same number of tanks we've always had? And one's in Cross by 6. One, where are they?
39.
I know where they used to be.
Lothar?
39 in
Yep.
Lothrop.
Yep.
Where?
Route 39, the Spider one.
The tall one.
Oh, okay,
Right,
39,
and
yeah.
Lothrop
Okay,
Street,
yeah.
Lothrop is the newest one, the new style
And
tank.
Lothrop, yeah, it's low to the ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, if you look up this week, or if I remember to look up, when you go by the tech school, you'll see them finishing the painting on that tank, that's a project that we're just finishing off in December. So one we got done,
We did that.
despite the
Tony, did
delays.
you want to make a comment?
no, I just want to, because part of our capital plan changes we're making for town meeting is having a detailed funding spreadsheet. So I just want to confirm on this one, the 1.1 million, I have it listed under enterprise debt. Is that how you plan on funding that?
So I would prefer to have that discussion possibly in January or earlier, but.
Okay, we have to present the fully
Right, okay.
flushed out plan.
But we need to see our retained earnings as
Okay,
well, as
sure.
you're
All right.
waiting on your free
Can I keep
cash.
it there for now, though?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's undoubtedly probably where it will come from, but Sandy, Jason, and I need to, and the board needs to look it over, because we just...
Yeah, I understand, yeah, because I have something else that's listed under retained earnings on the vehicle,
Right.
so.
Our main thing, despite the December meeting that you have, is to make sure we give you our intentions so that you can combine our borrowing needs with the finance committee. We will probably need borrowing on Route 28, a second lap on that, which doesn't even show on this.
Okay.
So
We have some borrowing to do,
We'll be in
too,
touch.
on the 28, our side of the 28.
I'll be knocking on your door.
Scott, question. Scott?
I have two questions. Yes, two questions. One is on the 196 Chatham Road space building, now at, I guess it's 5 million now. Did you ever consider the option of changing the drainage or eliminating the drainage in the existing building if it's not really additional space that you're looking for, but rather the environmental protection aspect of the project?
Yeah. So the drainage has been, the buildings, I don't know if you've been there, the buildings are really,
No.
really inadequate. They're really, there's a lot of work that needs to be done with those. We have sealed all the drains that are in them, What's happened is, I think we're probably one of the only departments that we store all of our vehicles in a Zone 1 on Cape Cod. So the Mass DEP came down and said, you know, we'd recommend that they actually want us to pull them out of our Zone 1. So nothing, we don't get any contamination from them, any oil or anything like that. And
Outside now.
some of them a lot of them are stored outside.
Right, they're
Problem
outside.
with Zone 1 is...
Right, right.
Yeah, and our
So
Zone 1
is there,
Go ahead.
is there a possibility that that need for storage outside of that zone could be accommodated within the DPW project that we discussed? A brand-new building for DPW that could be increased in size to accommodate your vehicles? I'm just throwing that out as a possibility for economies of scale.
So this is the first, I don't know much about that building, and this is the first I'm hearing of that. So that would be the commissioners, and we'd have to discuss that.
And if I could add,
Sure.
this building's been talked about for many years, even before Jason's 14 months here. And originally, we talked about even moving our location, putting the building in a different location, or possibly even moving our entire office building or anything else. So certainly, I wouldn't say anything's off the table, Scott.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to comment further on that then, because yes, economies of scale with the DPW building, but then every time you've got a man who needs to go to a broken water main and the truck's up at Queen Anne rather than on Chatham Road, then you've got that kind of an economy of labor. So, but nothing's off the table.
Yeah.
All those ideas are good.
Yes.
Okay.
A question will...
And I had a second, I'm sorry, I had a second question. While you're still here, this is to both you and Tony, probably more to Tony. In that budget guidance letter, right at the beginning, there was a mention of a $500 million plus price tag on the overall sewer project. And I just wanted to state that I'd love to see any detail on the timing of that $500 million across years, the basis of that number, that I could see at some point, just in the context of a heads up about capital outlays going forward.
Me too.
That's a new number to me.
So that, I will say that the engineers, what's their name? The
GHD.
GHD did a presentation last year at one of the select board meetings, and they were asked specifically to lay out
Years.
the future of that and kind of, I think the years, if I remember correctly, and it's a quick little schedule, and it's a little more than 500 million. I mean, that 500 million doesn't include what we've already approved.
Okay, so I have to jump in as a resident for a second, and I saw that presentation, but that presentation, the map, the packet's never been before the public, never been discussed by the public, you know.
But
the
it's been to
plan-
the select board. It wasn't a public meeting, not a public hearing.
Right, but our plan is the 2016 comprehensive wastewater plan that was voted through town meeting by the public. There have been many other talk about revisions, but nothing actually exists.
Okay.
So that plan is currently being updated. That CWMP is going through its update right
Yes.
now. I know
Yep.
it's been a long time.
Amazing that we were able to
We'd
bring 3A forward in a plan that hasn't been updated
I
or
know.
changed. Sorry, I just have to say that.
Yeah, I mean,
Not a
DEP
fan of that
acknowledged, I
project,
mean,
yeah.
they're going off of that plan, so I mean,
Right, right.
they're approving our.
And I realize it's probably just an estimate at this point, but
$500 million, that's a lot.
it's new money, $500 million. It's not, what have we spent so far?
That's only...
50, 35, it's like
Almost 100 million.
105, right? Yeah, so it's well over a $600 million project.
But my question is there any backup to that 500+ million in terms of by phase, by year, or
It's by phase.
any sort of
By phase.
source material?
It's by phase, yeah. I'll see if I can find it and send it to you,
Okay.
Scott.
By phase, but it's
It,
not,
take it for what it is, I guess is what I would
not
say.
voted on.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure,
Right,
proposition.
Right.
Thanks.
Just a question, water rates go up? will water rates go up?
I think there's a good chance, when they go up in July.
Okay.
This past July, we were able to not raise the water rates themselves, but we did have to raise the base, the quarterly base amount. But with the 100-year-old pipes in the ground,
Right.
you know,
I mean, it makes sense,
inevitably,
but-
you know, there will be increases.
There will be increases.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask, I'm not very knowledgeable about these enterprise funds, but as I read the audited financial statements, I'm the one person in town who actually is trying to read them. Is your debt?
Second person.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I always like Noreen.
Tony can tell he's already gotten copies of all my questions.
Is your debt, your long-term debt, around $8 million currently?
It's up to about 9 million now.
Okay.
But in addition to that, we have authorized unissued, still remaining on Route 28 of, again, I don't have bids in, so I'm going to guesstimate about another 5 million.
Okay. And so when you do like the 1.1, for example, and you have to look at, you have retained earnings, which is just your positive cash flow,
It's their
your free cash.
Their free cash.
If you have enough, you can make a decision if you want to use that, or if you have a reserve you want to keep, maybe you can use some of it.
An example is that water tank. That was 1.6 million.
To paint it.
And we, the painting.
Yeah.
And we paid for that totally out of retained earnings.
Okay.
That's why I'm thinking we'll probably wind up back with debt, because that was 2 years in a row. We took 1 million out 2 years ago and 600,000 out last year.
And do you try to keep a sort of a base number in there? Is
Yeah.
that- Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
there's a percentage, which of course is going to escape me right at this moment.
Okay, and then, so then you have to, let's say you didn't have the retained earnings and you had to go out and borrow 1.1 million to do the well. That debt, does it get paid by the enterprise fund?
It gets paid as part of our enterprise operating fund, so,
And so then it goes into the ratepayer? Is that,
well, everything goes into the rate
Correct.
payer.
They pay for their own debt service.
okay, so the debt service comes out of your enterprise fund when you take out debt?
So you would see on our normal budget, if you saw a breakdown of it, salaries, expenses, annual debt, annual interest.
Right. Okay.
So enterprise funds are designed to be
I-
self-sustaining.
Yeah, our annual debt, I think right now, Sandy can correct me, I think it's running around 700,000 a year.
To service your debt?
Yeah,
Okay, okay. All right.
I think. Is that about right?
Yep.
Queen of ball pucks.
All right, any other questions? And I do want to ask one question. There is nothing coming up on the sewer for the next 5 years, because you guys aren't involved in
How about
that.
sewer construction?
Yes.
I don't know if I would say that.
Okay, but it's not in the plan.
No.
Sort of, this sort of.
Hand Lakes is the next big one, right? That's. the
But we
only one.
already,
So that-
we already
correct.
approved that money.
I don't have any other, at this time, knowledge of any other new sewer, now I understand what your
Yeah,
question
yeah,
is.
sorry,
New sewer
I didn't
projects
ask
in
that.
the next 5 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
and including
And
the treatment
that would
plant.
come through the select board and through GHD, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm interested to see what Scott brought up, right, to see when they laid this out.
Yeah.
When we talked to the board and we talked about debt service and all that, is I think it's time we have to take a step back and look strategically at our
I totally
overall
agree.
debt, and
I'm all
when does
for
it
that.
make sense to do the next step? I mean,
Yeah.
we've made massive progress on nitrogen reduction, and so I think now it's like, let's freeze.
Do we get a report card on nitrogen reduction? Like, has,
They do, yeah. I mean, we do, because we're supposed to try to be taking out with these projects, I think it was 70% nitrogen reduction, so we're sort of graded on that. And they look at that, right? So we just got an SRF approval for the 28 dry pipe project. So, yeah, that gets looked at as well.
okay,
So,
So, by the way, Tony, how does that accounting of nitrogen reduction work? Do you know yet? Because there are other projects other than sewer that are either completed or close to being completed, like Cold Brook the Cranberry Bog restorations on Hinckley's Pond, which do have nitrogen reduction capabilities that should be estimated and counted in our favor.
And I think you're right, I think it does. Now, how they do that and report it, I'm not 100% sure, but all those projects contribute to that. And that's why you look at those to say, do we need to continue sewing in this area when you take into account some of the other environmental projects that we've taken on that contribute to nitrogen reduction? Do you need to go in and then sewer on top of that?
And
So
I guess it's a little bit challenging because really only Phase 2 is, and I know it's not even probably 100% complete, but call it 99 maybe?
Phase 2, I think, is more or less done, I believe.
I still see people keep hooking up in my neighborhood,
that's
I don't
hooking
know.
up. I'm talking about
Yeah,
the
no, but that's
construction.
where you get the nitrogen removal,
Well,
is
that's
the
true.
hookup,
Okay,
right?
you're
Yeah,
right.
that's what
Right.
that's what I was thinking, okay. So while
It's all
we're
in
in
theory
phase.
until we hook up.
Right, in Phase 3, that's great, we're into it, but nobody's hooked up yet. So you're not getting any
But they still
credit.
have estimates
Well,
as
some
to
have.
what the nitrogen reduction will be from the phase, even if it's not complete.
Right, but it's going to be interesting to see what the actual is versus what, you know how that
Yeah,
goes.
some of the Phase 3.
I'm not sure it's ever really measured, except in the embayments themselves.
It
You know,
is.
the offshore testing sites.
Now, DEP's got, it's almost like a high school report card.
They track it, yeah.
They track it, they give certain percentage to the different projects that are out there.
Is that online, Judith?
I can find it and get them to you.
Yeah.
I would love to see it.
And it's counted in 5 different watersheds, by the way. It's-
Correct.
Yeah.
You can't really trade from one watershed to another.
Just so,
we're
you know, you're
responsible
clear,
for
that's not really the
reduction.
department's.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know, but I don't know where else to
Yeah,
bring
yeah,
up
that's
the
what I was thinking.
wastewater
No, I'm
project,
same
the
boat,
sewering
but
project, so,
The
okay.
public sometimes gets confused.
I
because we're-
work with water things outside of our
Right.
commission, so
As
that's
do
my
I.
other hat.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of them.
All right, do we have
Excuse
any
me?
other?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The fleet schedule?
Yes, we do have a fleet schedule.
All
You
the
could
expenses.
distribute those, please. Last year, we didn't have a fleet schedule ready for you, so if you had any questions specific to the vehicles that are on the plan, have at it.
Can I get this electronically?
Yeah,
Okay, so I can send it to
yeah.
those who weren't here?
And if there are any questions that do come up, feel free to email me.
And on that, while you're glancing at it, I would point out that staff has put it so that you can see, if you'll see at the top, the one at the very top was a wastewater one from a year ago that's dropping off in process. But you'll see they've grouped them so that they match your capital plan. So the 2 in blue add up to the FY '27 amount, the $510,000 for your capital plan. The next 2 in lime green add up to the $220,000, which is your FY '28 number in your capital plan. The 2 in yellow add up to, the 2 vehicles you'll see on the right, add up to $165,000, which is your FY '29 capital plan amount. And there is one lonely one in beige for $90,000, which would be the FY '30 capital plan.
And what does the annual cost column indicate?
The total annual cost for that fiscal year.
Oh, you're just, I see, you're just accumulating over there.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay, got it,
No,
sorry.
it's not accumulating, is it?
Yeah, it's the 410 and the 100,000 is the 510.
Right, but
Yeah, yeah.
then it drops to 220. It doesn't accumulate as a total
No,
page.
No, it's just
each
for the year. You're adding the
Yes,
year
for
so we can relate it
yes.
back to
We
the,
followed the DPW's model
Okay.
because we heard that you liked that,
okay,
and so.
perfect. Follow-up question on the?
A question, just that, so the 510 relates to the 350 in last year's plan? Is there another vehicle added other than what was planned, or is it increase
cost
in
increase?
feed cost of product, or?
So
Cost increase, I believe.
one, it's partial cost increase due to a diesel truck, and diesel trucks are going up, so that did go up to $410,000. The other increase was, we have a skid steerer for our construction. The skid steer is like, I want to say like a Bobcat. You ever see like a Bobcat, the skid steerers? Our skid steer is, we get recommendations by the DPW. DPW is saying this is going to cost a lot to maintain this. and it's slowing down in power. So that is where the other 100,000 came from, was a skid steer.
It's new.
The 410 is needed
Yes.
timely-wise? It can't be pushed up.
Yeah, 410 is a new dump truck for the department. Our old dump truck is rusting out on Cape Cod here. We've already replaced the bed. In the dump, we had to do a temporary patch to it. So we got a great big steel plate. We had to put that into the dump truck and have that welded in. And the
Does it have
DPW.
secondary use or is it just goes to the scrap pile
It'll be traded in for the new one.
for this?
Yes.
And that's allowed for in the 410, some recovery?
Yes.
Okay.
I have one question about superintendent, if that's okay. When would the new well construction be in a position where this board might like to see it or visit it?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Oh, yeah.
Is it just a piece of earth now? I mean, what is it?
It is a piece of earth right now, with a temporary well there for DEP and to do some testing. Okay. They also did a mod flow on the Monomoy lens. That's basically a study
That's a lot of sense.
of the water coming out of the ground in the Monomoy lens. You're welcome to see that anytime. Okay.
I don't want to get too close to the hole when you dig it, because somebody might push me in.
Well, here's the other thing. The other thing is that if you put some eyes on it and you saw the treatment facility, you saw the well as just a blank slate, then you could see and have an idea of the work that has to go into this by the time it gets into construction phase. So it might help you realize
Yep.
the great deal of work that's going to take place.
So we're kind of like right in our busy period right now, so
Oh,
Next year,
maybe
I
in the
think it-
spring, that might be a site visit we could consider.
Picnic there.
Spring outing, there you go.
Yeah. We
Us-
we don't have
us
a
and
lot
the
of things we
ticks.
can really
Can't wait.
show.
All of our utilities are under the ground. The only thing you see are fire hydrants and water tanks. Okay? And so it's really hard to say, this piece of pipe under the ground is deteriorating, we have to replace this. And everybody's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
I'll go back to a prior year where it was said, anytime you open a road, you find 100-year-old pipes or things we don't know what's there, that we have an antique shop under every road. Is that pretty much accurate?
Yes.
No different than rehabbing an old house.
Yeah, we have, our water system is an old house.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any wood pipes, though, like they do
No.
in Boston.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wooden water mains. That's what they had.
Oh, don't tell me anymore. Just one caveat was, for the public, and I know it's not the topic right now, but in our wastewater plan, we're only sewering 50%, correct? Of the Harwiches?
That was the plan proposed by the comprehensive wastewater plan in 2016,
Right, it's not everybody in Harwich is going to get the sewer, it's 50%.
unless people decide they want to give it to everybody.
That's a select board question.
I don't want to go down that road, I just wanted to clarify for the record. Thank you.
Any other questions? Michelle, have any questions? Good, Scott? Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
This was very helpful.
Okay. Thank you.
And
Actually, easy, thank you.
any visitors that want to come
Thank
down,
you.
you are welcome.
Thanks. You'll be sorry you said that.
We do show up.
Yeah,
After your busy season.
after our busy season. Great. Okay.
We just spend a lot of time on trucks.
All right, we're just regrouping for a second here.
Police next?
Police are next.
Finding things from COVID.
I didn't realize 28 had moved again.
Yeah, thank you. All right, feel better.
Thank you. Moved again.
Yeah, it makes sense, though.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. See ya, Noreen. All right, we're just waiting for Tony and Paul to come back. Come on up.
You guys have to take a break, we're fine.
I don't know, keep going.
Tasers and vests, I remember tasers.
How's everything going?
Good, good.
Busy summer?
Busy summer.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
busy? Way busy, or?
No, it's
Noise complaints are still
typical.
down.
Yeah,
Traffic seemed really busy, that's for sure.
yeah. Very busy with traffic.
Yeah.
But
Noise
we had a good summer.
Noise complaints are down.
Yeah.
That's the
We
positive.
had a good summer.
I heard crazy stories from some weddings that you guys were called to and other things.
Well, I didn't hear them, so that's good.
I kept thinking, the police get to go to the weddings in certain places? Wow.
All right, do you want to start with that, Paul? We'll just get going here. So you missed out, we did read sort of the select board's budget message and guidance, and, you know, all things being equal, we're trying to keep budgets level unless there is something that is absolutely required. So we're leaning towards the no new projects if we can avoid it. And I don't think I remember seeing anything in your presentation that was new. Maybe cost increases, but I don't think there were new projects, but I'll let you guys walk us through that.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for having us back again this year. So you're correct. I'm here with Deputy Chief Hutton, Chief Considine. Adam did the bulk of work on this, so between the both of us, any questions, we're happy to answer them. You're correct. We took a hard look at the budget message as it pertains to capital, and no big changes at all, no additions. In fact, some good news that Tony doesn't even know yet, but,
We'll take
Always
it.
into good news.
right, right. So for fiscal year '27, the first request we had on there is our normal request for 3 cruises every year. I just like to point out, and I think I've done it every year that I've been up here as chief or deputy chief, is you know, I think we have a track record, and I am 100% positive and safe to say this, that any capital request that comes to the town, it's not a want, it's an absolute need, whether a need right now or a need out to the future, looking to the future. Policing is complicated, our building is complicated. What we have to keep up with our audits, with the state is complicated, so we're always looking ahead to our 5-year plan of what needs to be replaced. We've been very fortunate, I thank you and the town for the support of our cruiser replacement program, which has been 3 over the years. This next fiscal year, '27, we want to cut that from 3 to 2.
Whoa.
So I'm not sure if you're working off of.
So we have a number for 215,000 for
Correct.
3.
So that new number is going to be 143,000.
143,000. Now, do you all have the same issue like that the fire department has with the lead time on these vehicles, or is it?
These are just cruisers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even with cruisers, we have some lead time problems, yes. And that could be either building the cruiser, getting them from the factory to our dealer, but we also see that in terms of manpower as far as outfitting these cruisers. There's a intensive process to outfit these cruisers with all the equipment. So manpower on that end, as far as dedicating time to a cruiser, which could be up to a month to get it all, everything in there, that's what we've seen.
And if you reduce 2 in 2027, are you going to need to add that one somewhere else? Or
No.
you're just going to kind of push them a little bit?
Yeah, no, I don't see that. You know, with cruisers, particularly with the use that we get 24/7, it's always hard for me to come before you and say, next year, it will be 2, or next year it will be 3. Right now, we're looking at going back to 3.
Okay. But you could have an accident, God
Well,
forbid, something
and,
could happen, it could break
You know,
down.
the good news is that's the reduction in '27. There's a reason for that. We've had 2 cruisers this summer. One was hit by a drunk driver on Division Street and totaled, and another one was totaled. So those are the unknowns that we always face in this line of work, is But on the flip side, we're replacing those two right now, which we didn't expect to obviously replace.
Oh, then you get.
So on the
And you're
flip side, that's
replacing those with money that you found in
Well, through
the-
insurance, right?
insured.
Through insurance.
They're all insured.
Okay, okay.
So they'll be fully insured, very minimal or no cost.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And no one was hurt, I hope.
So
They're back.
They're back.
Okay.
So that's the good
Okay,
news.
good.
So, Chief, quick question, and this, my information's probably a little bit dated, but there was a time where they were looking at technology for the cruisers, lack of a better word, installing battery packs, right? So that when you're, because engine hours become an issue, right? When the vehicles are running, even though you may not be, maybe on a detail or whatever, but battery pack that keep the lights going, the heat or AC going without having to actually run the engine? Is that a thing anymore, or is
Not
it kind
yet.
of go by the wayside due to cost? Or
Yeah, not yet. And these newer cruisers are, if they shut the cruisers off to come to the station or for a certain amount of time frame at a call, the battery can sustain the computer and the equipment.
Okay.
But we're not there yet.
Yeah, okay. It was kind of in the infancy, and never knew if it really...
Never came to fruition, unfortunately. So that's the good news with cruisers for '27. But we do know every year by our mileage what needs to be replaced.
And are your vehicles also maintained by the DPW?
They are, and very well.
Okay.
Very well. We're actually seeing, compared to years past, we're seeing them get to a high mileage, over 125,000. About 125 is where we like to see it. Anything over, they get pushed down to either detail cars or spare cars. When you get, no matter how well they're maintained, you get to 100, 125,000 for emergency response, you're asking for some trouble sometimes, so.
And how many vehicles are out on a shift typically?
It depends on summer or winter. We could have upwards of 7 to 8
Okay.
in the summer. On a weekend day, we could have 3 or 4 out there.
Got it.
So that's 27 for cruisers. The next thing in 27 is dispatch, IT. This is not new. The monies have not changed on this. We had an audit done of our dispatch center when right before I came in as chief. I noticed some things failing. So I brought our tech company in and said, can you look over everything? First and foremost, it's operating on Windows 10. That's the number one problem. They just looked at the computer screen and said, uh-oh, you guys are buying time here. And for a public safety facility, that's my concern, right? Dispatch is critical to us, critical to our mission and our officers. So where we've had some scanner failures, we scan all local departments, fire department, state police. We've had failures in scanners that we've had to replace. Those computers are on 24/7. They're robust. $500 for your own laptop at home. These are upwards of $1,000 to $1,500. So that $275 has not changed for pricing, but that is clearly a definite need for public safety. So that is it on 27, if anybody has any questions. We're just talking about IT improvements
yeah.
for
Your
dispatch.
first week, yep, okay.
So that's gonna roll over to like a 2-year project?
Yeah, so, and I was just talking to Detective Harris, who's our IT guy in-house. Yes, typically, if funding's approved, that is, and I know Tony's been cleaning that up as far as projects going out a number of years. This is a type of project that will probably not be done in the year it's approved. It'll probably go out to the next year. We'd hopefully have the funding for it, but this is a long, drawn-out project to get accomplished, get approved, and then get implemented, because that room has to operate at the same time. So that's a possibility.
And,
Excuse me.
go ahead.
Yeah, and this is for Tony, really. If this is a single project that lasts 2 years, wouldn't we normally have the entire, in this case, 550 in year one, and the cash flow would just happen to go over 2 years?
Not necessarily, and I know there's some other areas that are similar to that, like the records management project we have going on. I think we've had funding in several years.
Even the
Yeah.
IT project here in town, in the town hall.
It was split up. I mean, I guess you could do that, but I hate necessarily tying up multi-year money in a year we're not going to use it, that could take away from another project, because we only have so much. I'm still waiting to get the free cash, which is the bulk of our, I'll call it pay-as-you-go capital. When we determine how much of that free cash we want to spend on capital, if you have too much tied up in a year for something may get kicked off, right? Versus looking at it in the next year. So it's a little bit of a, balancing act between, both those types of ideas, so.
And I guess it's fine to have it across 2 years if, in the worst-case scenario, we can't afford it a year from now, we still get value out of the first half of the project.
Correct, right. If you couldn't do that, then you would want to put it all in 1 year, right? If it
Right,
somehow
right.
wouldn't work unless you did the other half, or it becomes a high priority. I mean, we're always going to spend something on capital. That just has to be known that is one that needs to be on.
Yeah, I mean, if it was an emergency, we'd have to find the money somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks.
and I don't know if there's an answer to this question, but there must be a schedule on which you have to upgrade your IT every so many, kind of like
But we do at the
the
town.
replacement of the cars, right? Like, is it every 5 years? I know technology, it's hard to say because technology changes so
Right.
quickly, right?
So we have some great IT people in our department, and with Sarah and with the county. As far as dispatch goes, this equipment was put in 2009, when the station was built. So we're on year 15, going on to year 16.
That seems like a long time.
We've limped it along as much as we possibly can, in fairness to funding and understanding that difficulty sometimes. But again, I think you might have shut the door, but I had a consultant come in and just look at the computer screen and say, what version are you on here?
Right, right.
And there's only a certain limit, and when I see starting to have failures in our computer system or our dispatching system or our radio system, it keeps me up at night.
But maybe we shouldn't be waiting till we get to that point, and I think we kind of did that in town hall when people couldn't communicate within departments. It seems to me, I appreciate not wanting, we have to be careful with our money, but to me, those kind of things we should be a little more proactive
Yeah,
about that,
IT
maybe?
and the technology piece have become so integral to everything we do. Now,
Right.
certainly in the public safety side, obviously I wasn't here, but I would have advocated pushing it up.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't work, now officer safety's at risk, and
Right, right.
responding to emergency becomes at risk.
You may be opening a back door to the system that somebody could
It's
have
just like-
access
it's-
to.
Yeah, it's just like our, our cyber defenses
Right.
and things like that.
Correct.
Because not everybody necessarily understands it. I understand it, having the last part of my career in intelligence and cyber, that
Right.
you have to be out in front of that, because if it goes down, you could be completely shut down.
Right, right.
And so at least my feeling is it needs to be a high priority, and the refresh of that on a regular basis as new technology and things come
Does
up.
the state say, like, you should be on version X of this right now, or is there anywhere that helps you?
Nothing?
No,
No.
no, it's on
Leave
us
you to your own resources, kind of a thing?
Yeah.
Now, Chief, you mentioned earlier, and is our department been accredited through
Not yet.
not yet, okay. So some of these things are you working on,
Well, and yes, we're working towards, so the state has accreditation, which you have to meet a certain number of standards and policies to be accredited, kind of like a college, right?
From an IT perspective?
No, from a
accredited?
public safety perspective.
Oh, okay,
From a police
okay.
perspective. So the first part is certification, which we've been trying to get there and working on our policies. A lot of these things are in my mind, because if you get to a certified department level, you have to have certain policies in place that say you have to be updated in dispatch, that you have to have fencing around your generator, around your building, right? Which we're going to get to in a minute.
Right.
But these are all things in my mind for the future, and it may not be me, it may be somebody else, but that we need to look at as a town and as a department in future certification process.
Right. I think that would be a good standard to meet if we can.
Well, it is. I mean, it goes to, sort of our, call it force protection,
Right.
terrorism type protections for critical infrastructure and public safety, right?
Yeah.
Today, it's just the reality that we have to do
right.
that. And
Michelle?
Yeah, I just have a general question about police departments and state grant money. Do we have, are there grants available for us to apply to, and do we apply to them? I'm just curious.
Yeah, there are grants out there. The typical grants that we see, and the one that we've been getting for 20, 25 plus years is for an example, is a traffic grant, where they provide money for us to put overtime officers out there or buy radar equipment. That we've gotten for the last 20, 25 years, which is a huge help to our budget, right, in the town's budget. Other grants you may see out there, and we're not crossing that bridge yet, is body cams.
Yep.
They just actually released another round of grant funding. These fluctuate, right? But they're out there, but obviously they're only available if we're going towards it. There's nothing really IT-wise from this perspective.
It's too bad.
No, and again, we're a secondary answering point. We're not a primary 911 answering point, which I'm happy about. A lot of towns who are primary are facing some issues. The state is trying to get them to all the regional systems. They don't want individual answering points anymore for 911. Barnstable and Yarmouth are doing this now. They're building a regional system, and the towns are paying for it. So this is minor compared to what towns are facing that are primary. So our calls get answered by Barnstable County, and they get transferred to us. We're secondary.
Okay.
That's the way we want to be.
Yeah, if you're a PSAP, like, so public safety answering point, there's a lot that goes into
sure,
that.
yeah.
And you're tied to it, right? So there's
Right.
a tail that follows along forever. and-
Let's wait until AI starts taking those
Yeah.
calls. That's coming. Go ahead, Ann.
Staffing, last year when we talked, you were down staff. Where are you this year?
Better news.
Okay.
We're still down, unfortunately, 3 long-term injuries, which we just got to play out. But we just hired our final full-time slot of other vacancies, non-injury that we've had. Again, we won't realize those. We have 2 in the police academy right now, and we just have 1 going in December. We won't realize those people for about a year and a half.
So you hire them before they're able to work?
Yeah, so we have to hire them because they get
And you're-
paid during the academy
Okay.
as
And we pay
an
them to go
officer.
to the academy?
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
But I think the other thing related to Michelle's question about grants, right? So sort of my philosophy, right, is who else can pay for this? Now, when it comes to things like this, it's a balancing act too, right? So on my sheet, you see other sources of funding, which could be grants. But what I encourage departments to do, depending on what it is make sure we include the whole amount here, and the grant funding is a benefit later. Because
Yes.
what you end up happening, and I think the chief has one of these going back to 2018 for a fingerprint machine, it was printed in there, we hope to get a matching grant to actually do it, which we didn't get and didn't do it.
Right.
So just
Kind of like
from-
the gravy on top if you can get the
if you get
grant.
it and it just
Yeah.
reduces it, and so once we do that, then the following year, we can reduce that article, and return that
Right,
money. And
right.
before everybody got here, I mentioned to Martha and Ann that, right now, we've recouped probably, hopefully in the neighborhood of $300,000 from capital articles that have either been fully executed, and there's money left over, or projects that aren't going to move forward for whatever reason, like this one that, are coming back to us to help fund part of this plan. So we're trying to be smart in capturing those funds and doing things of that nature. So I sent you a copy of my budget
I just
message
got it,
to
yeah.
share with the rest of the committee, because there's a lot more detail in there about the instructions the department heads were given as it relates to capital, and doing a full review of everything that they have on the list from prior times, and identifying where we can bring money back into the coffers to help support the plan.
And that was a huge grant example, is the state changed their electronic fingerprinting. The FBI changed a lot. Typically, that's an unfunded mandate. For some reason, and this is going back many years, we've been working on this grant for a while, it was held up by the state. The state found funding. to replace our electronic fingerprinting and booking, which was huge, huge. So we had that funding approved. We held it off a couple of years working on that grant. We could not do it any quicker. And I was able to tell Tony that, listen, we don't need that money anymore, right? So that's a huge, but these grants are not quick, and it could be multiple years.
Michelle?
Oh, yeah, I just had a general question. Does the town have any plans to obtain the body cams?
Right now, no.
Thank you.
Part and parcel for 28 as your next one is the upgrade to our IMC system. IMC is just a company name, and that's our in-house computer system, where we keep track of everything. So that's dispatching, scheduling, that is arrest reports, offense reports, accident reports. Everything we do as a department goes into the system. Sarah in IT has worked with us. This is a server system. We're replacing the server right now because I'm very afraid that it's going to not last a year, and this capital is a 2-year out. So this will get us to hopefully where we want to be in 28 to replace the server. The good news, again, IT, replacing IT, right? This is why we do it. The new computer systems are cloud-based.
Yeah.
So going back what Tony said is security and safety. This has been in operation since 2004. Before, we were working on microsystems, which was an old green screen, bubble screen. So we've come a long way, but again, it's now going to be over 20 years in this system. It's time to upgrade. This system is our bread and butter. It does everything. It keeps track of everything. We have strict mandates under public records law. Right now, it's difficult to find records. It's time-consuming for staff to find the records people want. These new systems is literally sometimes a click of a mouse, and the manpower we can save for this is amazing. That's just one example, but being cloud-based is huge. During a summer, I would say 8-9 years ago, we lost the system for 2 to 3 months due to hacking. We were literally writing our dispatch notes and everything down on paper and had to put everything back into the system. So that's that.
So when you go to the, like the new server, for an example, does the vendor help transition all the files, or do you have to use your own resources to do that?
No, the vendor will come in, they will transfer everything and go.
So that's included in the price?
That's all included in
Okay.
that. And actually going to cloud, it's pretty
easy,
simple.
yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
simple, yep.
Even I could change a computer.
Me too.
I did it this year.
Me too.
Yay. All right.
Heading to 29, you see vehicles again. And also in 29, this was put on for the first time last year. When I came in, this was glaring to me. Tony and I have had discussions about this. When they built the building in 2009, I'm sure you've seen it, the fencing goes around the police and fire stations. There's some holes in the fence. There's some open gates. Where the vehicles drive in and drive out, there's no security fencing, so anybody can walk in and out. Where the fencing is in place is good. It's tall enough, it's secure, but the rear of the property is not secure. Again, we look at certification. That is one aspect of certification in the future, that the rear of a public safety facility has to be secure. You look at any new buildings built now, they're all automatic sliding gates. Everything is secure. The generator's secure, the gas is secure, the water is secure. My main concern, though, is safety. We have people wandering back there sometimes with their video cameras to video cruisers, and we had to post no trespassing signs, so that limited that. But just officers coming to work and dispatchers coming to work on midnight shift. It's dark back there. Yeah, there's cameras, there's lighting, but it's not as secure as I feel it should be for our staff and our employees. So That price is to finish off the fencing back there.
Chief, we're talking about security in terms of terrorist kind of situation, right?
That too, absolutely. That stuff crosses my mind. Our cruisers are back there parked. Again, they're under video surveillance, but a lot of times it's quiet back there.
Yeah, a question, I guess, kind of related to the manning. Maybe it's a manpower issue, but I had reason to be involved with a couple of the towns on the public safety side, and to get into the fire department or the police department to ask a simple question, let alone if I had lost, a major cut or something where I needed some immediate attention, finding somebody to come forward, you can't even get into the vestibule of the offices with some of these adjacent towns. At least you can walk into your front office, but even once you get in there, finding somebody is an issue. If there's an emergency, yes, somebody may eventually come by ringing a bell or something, and you don't know whether the person is on the fire side or the police side. There's only one sort of area that's, I guess, used for dealing with people that walk in. But is that because the security has become such that now almost a simple access to the public safety side of the town is impenetrable?
Yes, security at night.
Well, I'm talking-
And I'll address that, but our vestibule was locked at night until we had an incident where somebody wasn't breathing and was coming in and didn't know where to find the button. Since then, it's been open. So anybody, day or night, can walk into the lobby. They turn right. It's labeled, says police dispatch. There's a bell. There's a dispatcher in there 24/7. So you will get somebody. There's nobody from the fire side, but there is somebody from the police side in there 24/7.
But they entered, when I dealt with that person, they were a police entity, but they were on the fire side.
Well, that's where dispatch is, but it says police
Okay.
dispatch.
But having a person there permanently is kind of too old school, is that right?
They're there 24/7. Yep.
But visibly, they're not there when you walk in. You
No,
have
they're-
to contact them. And if somebody is kind of limited, as I am, in terms of trying to find, even it's difficult to say, press this button, and you're trying to find out where the
Well, they
button
know
is.
you're there. They have video, they have doorbells, they know you're there. Now, what people don't understand sometimes is they may be answering a 911 call. They may not be able to get right to the window to say, hi, sir, may I help you, right? But if you're having an emergency, they will know.
Or call 911, right?
Right, there's a 911 phone
Well,
there, too.
I
Yeah.
compliment you for at least allowing somebody to get in.
Yeah, that will never be locked again.
But
Yeah, also,
other towns, you can't do that.
Agreed.
I think the other piece is too, and this is just, fact of life, you could actually show up at the fire department and they're not there because they're on a call. Fortunately, we have dispatch, right? Some departments, they're using county for police and fire. But, like the chief said, when you walk in, now some of the privacy glass is there for a reason. It's bulletproof glass, all that stuff, right? So, that's part of the force protection, but there's always 24/7, there is somebody there to assist somebody if they need it. And certainly if it's a general question, that's one, if they see an emergency happening, they're gonna jump up, yeah.
Question, on the fencing, because we've talked about this before, is it in the right year? It's in 2029.
Yeah, I'm trying to space things out to
No, but if
make it more,
you need it, and it's
Well,
a vulnerability, why are we waiting another 4 years?
our directions were to space things out. Now, we've gone 20 years without it, right? I'm confident that we can go another few years without it. All I'm saying is, I would like to see it in this capital plan, which is 3 years out. Now, I have some big asks on this side, which are more important as far as IT-wise than Fenton.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to spread it out. Yep.
Spreading
But
out.
I think you should bargain what you gave up for whatever the fingerprint and the reduction in the
thing.
car.
Move it, go get the.
Tony's listening.
Are you negotiating here? Tony's like, no, don't give me ideas.
Go get the fence, yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
what's next?
So we on 30, so again, our cruiser replacement plan. And then you see tasers, so for 2030. So this is potentially, and again, we won't know this for a year or two when we're in front of you. It may be a different discussion. We just replaced tasers about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. Again, I don't know what technology is going to look like. I don't know if these tasers we have now are going to be serviceable. These companies play these games where they don't, they're electronic equipment that get downloaded into a program. There's a lot there. So I don't have a magic ball to say, we're not going to replace our tasers in 5 years. It's my job to say, we may, and I may need the funding, right? So that's why it's on the plan. Right now, we don't expect to replace the tasers we have in 5 years, as long as the software doesn't change. That's the big thing. They'll work, but if the software doesn't work, they won't work. So we're starting to put it on there on out years, just as a placeholder, just in case.
Makes sense. Best and seniors.
On 2030 is the next big one. And again, this goes back to some grant questioning, whether the state has grants for these at the time, which sometimes is in limbo, but 2030, you have replacement and bulletproof vests. Again, we just did this project, so this is now 5 years from, we just did it last year. They expire after 5 years, and obviously, we do not let them expire, and they're critical to officer safety.
How do they expire?
They,
I don't think of a vest expiring.
well, I wouldn't want to find out how they expire, but the manufacturer, 5 years for bulletproof vest is the limit, but we don't want to find out if they,
Remember, they wear it every day, every shift. It may not necessarily be the ballistic capability as much as the material starts to degrade and whatever, because
Sitting in a hot
wear them
car
every
or
day.
something like that.
All
yeah.
that, yeah, body sweat, body whatever.
Yeah.
One thing on our new vests that you've noticed, and most departments have gone to these, they're all on outer vests now, so they wear all the equipment on their vest now.
Yeah.
Right? Get it off their belt, their gun is still on their belt, and maybe a few minor things, but in our profession, we've been seeing a lot of back injuries, a lot of officers out with back injuries. That's why we changed, and it's a national standard now, all those vests are load-bearing vests, everything on the vest to keep it off your belt, which means it's not carried by your back.
Oh, got it.
So,
As you think about technology, is there anything coming down the pike that you're seeing in police best practices, things like drones, I'll put it out there, that you think will sort of work its way into being a
yeah,
requirement?
drones are already there. We use our county, Barnstable County Sheriff for drones.
Do you, any of
we
you
don't
all
own
get
a
drone
drone.
training? Or
No.
no, you don't do drone?
Our regional traffic unit owns a drone, so they'll actually do traffic mapping of a bad crash by drone now. It's amazing. So our search and rescue team, regional team, has a drone.
Yeah.
Our SWAT teams have drones, so, yeah, drones are big. I do see us, without a doubt, in the next 5 years, moving towards body cams. That's the next big thing for us. But again, a lot of these towns and departments and states have tackled these issues, so it's always good not to be first, right?
Right.
So, but those are the big things I see. And then just any changes with technology. We're now have printers in the cruisers over the last 2 years. We're printing citations in the cruisers, getting away from paper, which affects our records management system, right? So everything is tied to this technology.
And
about
generally
schools?
drones and printers and things like that are below that $50,000 mark, is that? Yeah, okay.
What about school safety? How's that being handled?
Number one priority, I was a longtime school resource officer, so it's my priority. We still have 2 school resource officers, full-time officers dedicated to the schools, one at Monomoy and one at the Tech. What we changed since I came on board.
Elementary school? No?
Yeah, so what we changed since I came on board is I would love to have a third SRO. This town is unique to have 2 regional high schools, and a lot of people don't realize that when you think about
Yeah.
different aspects, right? Public safety is one of those. Not too many towns have 2 SROs assigned to 2
So
full-time schools.
does anybody else participate in the tech school, or is it just Harwich?
Just
that-
us.
Oh,
Just us.
interesting.
They do, last year's budget cycle, they do pay the salary.
Okay.
So we made that 100% pay.
But you have to use an officer too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 2 officers that,
Staff.
you know,
Yeah.
we don't have on patrol, except in the summer, right? They get
Right.
recertified, reassigned. What I would like to see is a third SRO dedicated to the elementary school. The need is there. They want it. Right now, manpower-wise, I can't do it. However, what we did do was we made a road officer a certified school resource officer. So under post-police reform regulations, they have to be now certified. We made this officer certified, so he is a technical full-time, he's not full-time, but he's a SRO, school resource officer. He goes into that school at times that he's able to. So that's a tremendous.
How often is he able? I mean,
I would say hopefully a couple times a week, go in there, but he's always available for calls to deal with issues. They know to call him, so it works out well. And we also have the charter school. He goes up to the charter school and touches base with them, too. We have a lot of schools in this town.
That we do.
And Chatham, for the elementary school, they have their own resource officer?
So they have a resource officer that handles the middle school and the elementary school.
Middle school and their elementary school, okay. Wonder how that gets paid for.
Not with
And your
capital.
budget's
No,
down.
no, I know, but the sharing arrangements around here, are interesting.
And that is the extent of our 5-year plan.
Any questions, Scott, Michelle, you good?
Is
Good.
is this, one can assume that the 5-year plan is reduced by $50,000 or something?
72.
By looking at that? 72?
Well, FY '27, I think you were up, but we reduced 1 cruiser. So our ask was 3.
Okay.
We just, this morning, reduced that to 2. So
143.
Oh.
143 is the new number.
$72,000.
Oh, good, okay.
We won't go over again why.
No, that's.
Anyway,
Well, thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
in. You made it easy. We appreciate it.
As always, appreciate
you.
the work you do and your committee does and the work Tony does.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For what you do for all of us,
Yes,
too.
Thank you.
absolutely.
Much appreciated.
All right, stay safe. Oh, Gonna leave me.
Private one.
He's leaving.
We have a couple things to do. Okay,
Go ask him, yeah.
Take care.
Thank you.
thank you.
Oh, just for me.
We'll just keep going here. The discussion on the potential site visit, I think this is just on every meeting.
Yep.
I know that, we could go over and look at sort of the water shed and all that kind of stuff. That's one. I do think I want to push anything we do until the spring unless we absolutely have to do it. I know there's a new person in the shellfish division, and she has, I know she's excited, and she's going to come and ask us if we want to see all the new equipment and what's going on over there, and I think that would be helpful. But again, I think I want to push that out to the spring unless anybody has,
Is the shellfish related to the harbor then, maybe?
I think, is shellfish a separate department here on the budget?
Or is it in
Well,
the
typically,
harbor?
the shellfish part of it, I think some of the lab is by DNR, Department of Natural Resources.
Yeah.
They don't have anything,
Yeah, they do have some stuff, yeah, because I was saying that, that we have a new person there, and somebody told me, I forget who told me, that she was excited to invite us over to see it.
yeah, that's
which-
Stephanie Ridenour.
Yeah, which I think we can, but I just want to make sure I have consensus from the committee that we'll wait to do sort of site visits. We'll start up site visits after we get through all the season of capital. Any objections to that?
No.
Okay.
None.
I did want to update you guys to the charter work that we've done. So I did go in front of the Charter Commission and present sort of our discussions. And there were 3 topics, that I brought up that related to things we may or may not have talked about. So first, the one comment that I got back from our liaison, Pete Petarsky, was, is the $50,000 number still a good number for the limit for capital? And I think the discussions, and my thoughts on this were, it is, because it could have some financial impact. For example, if we have cars that are, let's say we move the number up to 75 and we have vehicles that are 60,000, just to make it an easy number, and we have 5 in a year, those automatically go from the capital budget to the operating budget, and that becomes sort of a financing issue. 50,000 seems to be pretty consistent with most towns in terms of the number, as I understand it. The other thing that I don't know the answer to, and I think when the regional school district comes, Chatham has a $25,000 number, Harwich has a $50,000 number for capital. How does the school work with that? I don't know the answer to that. Do they have their own number? How do they look at it? So I think that's just work that we, understanding that we need to do. I don't know. Right now, there's probably no financial impact for keeping or changing the number for capital. But if we ever got to a point with Chatham that, for example, I know one of the proposals out there is that we split capital 50-50, then having 2 different numbers, that would all have to be sort of figured out and all of that. So I don't think there's any appetite to change the 50K, but I did bring it up in front of the Charter Commission because it was something that got asked, and there was not discussion in this committee about it, but I wanted them to know that Pete had asked that question.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody has any strong feelings on that or not.
I'm good with staying with 50.
Yeah, I think that makes sense too. The other thing that I brought up at the commission was, we did discuss this, but we didn't change it, was the vote on the capital plan, not the budget, but at town meeting, do we need to vote? And I know Tony was saying most towns don't vote on the plan, they just vote on the budget. There seemed to be absolutely no appetite from the commission to change that. They think that we need to vote on the plan. So that didn't really go anywhere, but I just bring it up. The other one that, and I know Paul's in favor of this, I'm not so much, but the size of our committee, the fact that we're a 7-member committee today, could we go to a 5-member committee? I think my biggest, and I did sort of offline talk to Linda Sabula about this, and I've sort of said something to Tony and Pete. I think the way that it was originally set up, it was equitable for Finance Committee to have 2 members, the Town Administrator to have 2 members, the Select Board to have 2 members, and then have the, no offense, Ann, the odd member in planning to sort of to give us an odd number. If you go to 5, my concern is, do you tip the hand of one group over the other in that construction of the committee?
Have finance.
And I love my finance committee members, but I don't think it would be right to have 2 finance committee members outweighing on the capital outlay committee. It probably isn't right to have 2 select board members. I may get around 2 town administrator members only because it's your budget, right? So, but I don't know how, unless somebody can convince me how it's equitable, I don't know how you change it.
The reason I presented that thought was with the idea that the town administrator is now, I guess is about to be, or is already, an ex officio member of this committee. So technically
not.
There's two participants in discussions that represent the town administrator, either the town administrator himself or his designee, or in this case right now, there's even 3, the town administrator.
But the town administrator doesn't have a vote, so.
No, he doesn't have a vote, but is a participant in the whole process, and he sets he establishes the background for the committee's work, and my sense is that he is the strongest influencer, and one other member of the committee is certainly adequate to represent the town administrator's work or effort or thinking or whatever. So, and it just seems like a 5-member committee is more workable. I don't mean to cast stones to our distinguished member from the planning board, but I've never sort of wondered why the planning board gets a participation on this. The planning board is no more involved with the finances of the town than is the zoning board or the historic district commission or, I just think from a commonality, I guess, or common sense of the position, that we go 1 member from the town administrator, since he's already serving as an ex officio member, 2 members from the finance committee, and 2 members from the, and when you look at other town capital outlay, it's basically people who are directly involved in financial activities or interests in the town. And the planning board doesn't appear in any of these other town sort of capital outlay committees that exist in the adjacent towns. So anyway, that
So
was...
I will say this is sort of an open item, and I don't know where, either the commission will come out with this, or whether I don't know how this will all loop around, and we can have more discussions about it.
Can I speak as the odd member
Yes,
out with
please.
the question on
Our
planning?
best odd member.
2 things. One, practically, if you go to 5, your quorum is 3.
Correct.
And that's a very small group of people making big decisions on the capital budget.
Don't disagree.
And I think that's a little bit pushing it the other way. On the odd member piece on planning, what comes in front of planning is the future of the town. It's the investments in different things. It's what's going to be built where. It's the burden of the town going forward. When I listen to the well discussion, almost every planning application comes through going, are we overbuilding our town, and we will not have water for it, and we will not have environmental resources? So respectfully, Paul, I think we see the future at planning earlier than other committees, and also the investment that's being made in big developments or even small ones. So that was the reason it was given, and I was the only one who raised my hand at the time.
She regrets it now.
But in general, not to defend planning too much, I think my position would be a quorum of 3 is too small.
So that sort of, at the commission, how that all wraps around, so we have a robust discussion about it later, I'm not really sure. But those were sort of the issues that I presented and that we discussed. So I wanted you guys to all be informed about that. My last item is email. So Emily has moved us all to the town email. I'm hoping everybody will get themselves set up. She's hoping by Friday this committee is set up. And you'll notice in my emails, if you send it to my personal email, I'm copying the Harwich Town email. I'm just trying to revert everybody back to that email. So if we can move over as quickly as possible and all communicate through town email, I think that would be helpful. If anybody has any problems, Emily and Sarah are definitely there to help. Anything, who do we have up next week, I guess, maybe?
Good question. I don't know if I don't think I have that
And do you,
right in front of me. Natasha has everybody set
Okay.
up.
do we want us to hold on to these?
We'll print a new one each time, because
Okay.
I have some changes to make.
Okay.
If I can just, Madam Chair, just because I think I had to step out to talk to the chief for a minute, what did you just, so John Harker had sent a couple of dates for a potential visit for the Shellfish Lab tour. Did you decide you wanted to wait on that?
Yeah, I didn't see dates. Did he send that to me just recently?
No, Natasha gave me a note, but it was like, it's next week.
Yeah, no,
Well,
I
it was
think-
the 7th, which is this week. That's Friday, and then it would be the 10th or the 2 days. So it sounds like you want to wait till the
Yeah,
spring?
I just think we want to wait until the
Yeah.
spring and get through all of this, and then we'll go back and do
It's
the
not a
visit.
27 project, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're good.
My only other thing, so I had made some changes to the papers you have in front of you, based on our last meeting, and flipping to put the totals on the end that Scott brought up, so I made some of those changes. I just wanted to bring up, so right now, so I have a meeting with the schools on Friday. I had to cancel last week because I had union negotiation things I needed to work on, so I'm meeting with them on Friday to go over their capital plan. Specifically, we're putting in information on this plan related to the elementary school, but I'll ask the question about the 50-25. I don't think it affects the school.
I don't think it does either, but I'd just
The
like to
other-
know.
Yeah, the other piece that I was asked, that Scott brought up, was to put, I'll say the other school capital project, not the element, but anything else that we get later on in the plan. I haven't put that in there yet.
Do you have the district's plan?
I do, but I have to go over it with them to make sure I understand how they
Okay.
came up with their stuff. So, but their capital projects, other than borrowing where that has to go to town meeting, anything else, it comes in our assessment.
Correct.
Right, we're not funding it through this plan. So I want to make sure I don't confuse town meeting when something gets put in the book when they look at the overall plan.
Right.
So what I might try to do is create a separate tab that has the rest of the school capital projects on it, so that we don't mix apples and oranges in terms of what goes before town meeting, but you'll be able to see all the school capital projects outside of the elementary school on a separate tab. You'll be able to see all those, so when they come in on the 3rd of December, you'll have that built out. Scott, does that kind of meet
December
what you
3rd?
might be looking
No,
for?
that's the best of both worlds, I think.
Okay.
Yes, thanks.
All right.
That's the date you,
Yeah, we need to, that 3rd is not a good day if we can.
Oh, yeah, we were looking to change. Did we already change it?
No, we were going to discuss it here, so.
Okay, so, because I need to let them know.
I hate to say I'm the reason why I have one of those appointments that you make a year in advance and they're really hard to change. And if I don't have to change it, I would prefer not to. So,
So it was either the day before or the day after.
yeah, which is a better date? Tuesday, the 2nd, or Thursday, the 4th? We can do it at either 10 or 11.
Tuesday the 2nd.
December?
Yes, sorry, December.
The 2nd or the 4th? is
Yeah,
what
we
you
were
said.
originally scheduled for Wednesday, the 3rd, but there's some conflict, scheduling conflict, so we wanted to do
I could
either the
second.
day before at the same time or the day after at the same time.
So Paul is saying the 2nd.
I'd go the 2nd, yeah.
The 2nd is good for him. Would the 2nd work for all of you?
I can do the 2nd.
Yes.
I can do the 2nd. Michelle, how are you on the 2nd?
This is a good reason to go to 5 rather than 7.
Oh, Paul, stop.
I think that will work for me.
Okay, so we're going to do the 2nd
And I'll
at
make sure the
same
schools-
time?
I'd say
11?
right now, start at 11, yeah.
11?
Okay.
And I'll double check with the, I'll have Natasha reach out to Mr. McMillan, and make sure that's going to work. I think she already has, Jennifer.
We were kind of hopeful that we're far enough ahead that,
So we're going to
Not be-
10 a.m.?
nope, 11.
11 on
okay.
Tuesday,
Day
December
11.
2nd.
Just Tuesday, December 2nd. And then I think, is that our last meeting?
That we had,
We plan to, I think, wrap up on the 10th with the vote.
Oh, the
We
10th.
did the
Okay.
vote.
Okay, great. Okay.
So we put the 10th at 11 in there also,
yeah.
The 10th should already be in there. We,
of
hopefully,
December?
of December at 11, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great.
And then that would be the last
Wednesdays
one?
at 11, it's Wednesdays at 11 until December 2nd, which is a Tuesday.
Correct.
Okay, great.
And hopefully that's the last one, and then there's a couple weeks off before the first of the year when we go to the joint meeting with the Finance Committee.
Can I just ask, we're not meeting on the 26th of November, correct?
Yeah.
Correct, we are not.
Thank you.
Oh, good.
That's the Thanksgiving, right? Yeah. I think I might have put it in there just in case, but there's no need for us to meet on that Wednesday right before Thanksgiving. Everybody's looking to get out of here.
And, yeah, I got to run, unfortunately, I got a doctor's thing. But, Tony, is there going to be a page to kind of cover the funding mechanisms? for
It's in here.
Oh, it is in there? I
Yeah.
didn't see it.
It's
Yeah,
in
it
the
says
back.
funding at the top, or it says budget.
Okay.
Yep, and it has all the funding sources, and at
Okay.
least right now, where notionally I have each of the projects slated for its funding mechanism, including enterprise funds, CPC is a column, that kind of stuff, free cash.
Okay, I'll check.
All right,
I move
can I,
adjournment, Madam Chair. Is that possible?
do I have a second?
Second.
Mike,
Okay, Ian seconded. Michelle?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Paul?
I'm for it, yeah.
Ian? Aye. And I'm an aye. We're done.
Where are you,
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Scott, where are you?
All the paperwork back then?
No, you can keep it.